name's James. I'm a personal trainer from empoweringpt.co.uk, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to hip hinge. So the hip hinge is something that occurs in a lot of exercises. This is where you push your hip back into a position that allows you to support your torso and the weight of your torso with your lower back and your upper back and just your core in general. What this does is this allows you to support your weight properly and it doesn't put any risk to your spine. What you'll find is that with a lot of these exercises that I'm about to show you is that people will bend their spine, and this is typically where they'll go wrong and then cause injuries later down the line. Now, the best way to learn how to hip hinge is to use a broom, pole. In this case, I'm using a barbell. Whatever you've got, as long as it's nice and straight and you can hold it easily, you can use it. So all we're going to do is put it behind your back. And what I want you to do is to keep it in line with your spine, and you want your head, your upper back, and the very back of your pelvis to touch the bar. Now the easiest place to hold this is behind your neck, right here, and behind your back, just where it starts to curve here. And then from here, what you're going to do is push your hips back and bend your knees ever so slightly while keeping the pole in that same position. And then you're going to come back up again. Okay, so I'll swap hands so you can see both hands. So I've got one behind my neck and the other in the curve of my back. Okay, keeping the pole nice and straight, pushing the hips back, bending the knees ever so slightly, pushing back, keeping the weight through my heels, hinging backwards, keeping my back nice and flat, and then from here I can push back up again. The idea here is that you're using your lower back to stop yourself from bending over. So if I was to stay here and I was to hinge over and then relax my lower back, I would then find that I'm heading down towards the floor. And that's obviously not what you want. Instead, you want to be able to brace, because you're going to keep hold of that weight. So if you're doing a stiff-legged deadlift, for example, you're going to push back and then come right down. What you don't want to do is bend straight over. So that is generally the best way, and a way that a lot of personal trainers will get people to start to hip hinge. This is something that you can easily practice before you do any exercises that include a hip hinge. So exercises that include a hip hinge are exercises such as a deadlift, stiff-legged deadlift, bent over rows. They all involve getting into that position and then being able to either brace to hold it or moving in and out. Now this is a very powerful position to be in. So what you'll notice is that from this position here, when I push back, I get a good amount of length through the glutes and the hamstrings. So then as I squeeze the glutes to push up, I can create a lot of power, as the glutes are very powerful muscles. And this is what helps us to lift so heavy in our deadlifts. My point is, there are a lot of exercises that include this movement, so it's an important thing to start to learn. There's nothing wrong between sets or as a part of your warm-up, grabbing one of these and just practicing your deadlift. Sometimes I'll get my clients to do this, especially if they're getting tired. I just want to reignite that muscle memory and make sure that they're using the correct form when they're lifting, especially if we're lifting heavy. So hopefully you now know how to hip hinge and where it can apply in what exercises and how to use it. Don't forget to practice. This is something that you can easily forget, especially when you're lifting heavy and in that moment you're finding ways of getting it up because you're really struggling. This is one of the first places where your form will start to go. And of course, that's then starting to put your spine at risk. The key thing here is to protect the spine. And the best way to do that is to brace your core, to squeeze all of the muscles around your abs and your back, to tighten them around your spine so that you don't move, or only to move it where you need to. So I hope you've enjoyed the content for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out. Post a comment if you've liked it. And don't forget to mention something that you want to see later on as well. I'm always open to suggestions. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.